Once again, good morning, evening, afternoon, nighttime. Good day to you out there. We're going over Gorou today and sort of what you should expect from this character. 4-star character, going to be pretty powerful, but what is he going to grant to your team? And who do you really want to have on your team to sort of make the most use of this character? As always, guys, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button, put the D at the end. Make sure it's subscribed, triple check that thing and come on back, join the family, have a wonderful time here as always. Today's sponsor for this video is going to be none other than Ace Defender, which is a high quality strategy RPG that's combining both turn-based combat as well as tower defense elements. There's over 2,000 levels in single player RPG storyline mode, as well as other caveats such as PvP and more. There's going to be 48 plus heroes to this game, and 2 heroes are released every 2 weeks. So if you want to sort of expand your resources, what characters you're looking for to make your team the way that you want, that's a way for you to do so. On top of that, all these 48 characters plus more, there's 5 hero factions: Divine, Demon, Shadow, Nature, and Light, with deep backgrounds as well that combine with the storyline element. Not only is there PvE and PvP player experiences, but there's also going to be the Expedition solo mode, and you can also speed up your combat with either ×1, ×2, or ×4 gameplay. As of now, new users who follow my link down below and download the game and play through Storyline 2-8 are going to get 10 Royal Recruit tickets that you can use for free and go ahead and get new characters to add to your roster. So make sure you go try out Ace Defender today with my link in the description, and let's get into the content for you. Now, Gorou out here, we know he's going to be buff in defense. He's going to be able to heal a little bit, maybe give you some crit damage, GEO damage up, but what is it that you have to do in order to make him work? And is it worthwhile? And what is sort of like the napkin math on the sort of benefit that you could expect from a character like Gorou? So first of all, Gorou is going to kind of sort of reaffirm the strength of the 2 GEO resonance. So the GEO resonance here is kind of like alluding to what Gorou wants to do. So we have Enduring Rock, shield strength 15% for having at least 2 GEO characters in your party, and then you're going to increase your damage dealt by 15%. You're also going to reduce enemies' GEO resistance by 20%. So this having 2 GEO characters, and why do I say that this sort of alludes to sort of what sort of team composition you're going to want for Gorou here? This is because Gorou, his sort of abilities to sort of give your party the benefit, right? He's basically a GEO bard. Is going to scale with how many GEO characters you have. So it's 1, 2, or 3 GEO characters in total. He is a GEO character, so he does count himself out there. So when you use his buff, you're gonna get a couple of different things. So now the baseline thing here, he's gonna give you a flat defense buff for your team. So it's gonna be right around like a 450 max level, like maybe just shy of 500 defense buff. And that's gonna be utilized on 2 different characters here, Noelle and Albedo, currently out. On top of that, you're going to have an ascension for Gorou, what's going to give him some damage scaling based off of his defense. And then obviously we know that Itto is going to be the good old, big old 5-star, all mono damage Noelle sort of thing, looking like her C6 version of her elemental burst. That's kind of Itto's whole thing. Defense to attack, does GEO damage, all that stuff, looking very powerful. So that 500 flat-ish defense buff is going to be pretty good in conjunction with these characters. So let's get in here. Let's talk about Gorou here. Now, Gorou is going to be sort of reminiscent of the good old ×2 GEO resonance bonus here, because Gorou is going to scale up with how many total GEO characters you have, up to 3, and he does count himself. For a refresher, don't know what GEO resonance is. Shield strength 15%, we like that. Damage up 15%, and then dealing damage to enemies decreases their GEO resistance by 20%. Now, why do I say that this is very reminiscent of Gorou? So first and foremost, he's going to have sort of like the bard effect for GEO characters. He's very nice in this circumstance. You can have an E and an elemental burst. If you don't know what an E is, that's the keybind for elemental skill on PC. So an elemental skill and elemental burst, that is going to do a couple of things based on what amount of GEO characters you have. So you have the basic 1 GEO character, defense buff up. At max level, it's just under 500 flat defense, so like 480. We'll touch on that one more because there's another way to buff up your defense as well, even at Constellation 0. Now, the second thing that Gorou is going to allow you to do, 2 GEO characters resistance to damage interruption, which used to be on the 2 piece of the Enduring Rock. This used to be the old benefit there. Now it's going to be kind of moved to good old Gorou's ×2 GEO characters. The third one here is going to be an additional 15% damage up for GEO characters damage. That's going to be wonderful as well. So let's talk about some other things about him though. So we have defense up, flat, resistance to interruption, which used to be on here. And then we're also going to have GEO damage up. Now, on top of that, he's also in his ascension, not a constellation, but in an ascension, he's going to be buffing up your character's defense by an additional 25%. So you can get the the sort of 500, 450, 500 flat defense there. And then in addition to that, 25% of that character's defense here, which is going to be quite a lot if you go ahead and look at this. So let's go ahead, take back my GEO cup. Who took this from me? I want to see who did it. Who did it? We were making the Ningguang video. Yep, putting that on back with Noelle here. And so you're going to see that we're going to have 1700 defense and our base defense is 799. So if you get 25% of this, that is just under 25% of 800, which could be a whopping 200 defense, plus his 500 flats can give us like 700, 650, 700 flat defense, which you may say, that's not that big of a deal. But remember, we have characters that want to buff up our defense, especially if they're GEO. So we have Noelle, Albedo, and then Itto's coming out on top of that. Now, Noelle and Itto have a defense to attack percent. So go ahead and look at Noel'S Talents here. At level 13 sweeping time, 85% of your defense goes to attack during elemental burst. You have her constellation C6, 50% additional. So 135% of your defense goes towards your attack. So if you're buffing up your defense by 25% in that 500 flat, you're getting 700 defense, and then you get 135% of that defense towards your attack. That's gonna be right around 1,000 additional attack. And that's a tremendous amount of free attack for having him in your party, not to mention if you're running multiple GEO characters. So you already had a ×2 GEO team. Well, you add him in as your third GEO, you have all 3 GEO characters rocking and rolling. So you get that 15% GEO damage up, that resistance to damage interruption, and that additional, 1,000-ish attack on Noelle. And then Itto as well has a very significant defense to attack mod on top of that, which is extremely, extremely significant there, which is going to be a sort of alluding to the next thing we're going to be talking about, the change of how good Noelle and Itto is in conjunction with not only Gorou, but the new set that's coming out, right? There's a new GEO/defense set with the 4-piece there. In addition to the 2-piece, you can get right around 54% free defense and 24% GEO damage up. And it's going to make the Serpent Spine a wonderful, wonderful monster. So before, back of the day, the White Blind and the Serpent Spine, they were pretty neck and neck at equal refinement range, right? If you want a little bit more healing, do a tiny bit, we're talking like within 2-3% of each other. A little bit harder to build. White Blind's there, depending on your subsets and your artifacts. You get up to 48% attack and defense. You have 51% defense here. So you're going to be looking at 99.7% defense up with max stacks on White Blind. That's a lot. It's 100% defense. Now with this new set, 54% defense up from the 2/4 piece at max stacks. And then on top of that, Itto and Gorou are both benefiting in Noelle from all this free defense, because you're going to get the 54% from the new set, which is kind of like this base defense here. And then you're going to get an additional 700 from Gorou. So you're going to have higher attack and defense with the Serpent Spine build in the future than you can hit right now with the White Blind build, which actually is kind of monstrous, because you're going to get this free damage percent up, crit rate up, and you're going to have higher attack in the future with Gorou, with the new set, than you can hit right now with the White Blind. And I'm going to go, smack some dudes up and showcase the little bit of difference you can hit with the White Blind and the Serpent Spine right now. So you may be asking, how significant is this change with the Serpent Spine and the White Blind? What is this difference in attack you're talking about? So let's go ahead. We have the Serpent Spine on right now. So this doesn't give us any defense, no attack at all. And we're going to have 1,700 defense and 1,100 attack between just those little things there. So we're going to just pop our Q and get in here and do some damage to see just how much attack we can hit. So drop this. Let's just play correctly. Pop this. I'm trying to get White Blind stacks, so we don't have it. So with the Serpent Spine build, we have 3,634 attack, but we also have the GEO damage up here. So 46 from our Goblet here. You don't see the ×2 GEO damage bonus up from the 2-piece of the good old Resonance from 2 GEO. And then you also have the 50% damage bonus up, which doesn't showcase itself in your stat screen, from the Serpent Spine as well, which is a significant amount. But how much attack can we hit with the White Blind? And so this is going to show you just how significant these defense buffs up from Gorou on its own are worth. Remember, this is C0 Gorou. This is Ascensions, not Constellations, just Ascensions. So we have the White Blind on. We have 2,113 attack with no stacks. So we're going to get up there, buff up our defense with our stacks, and then we're going to proc our Elemental Burst, use it, and see how much attack we can get there. And this is going to be because of our giant defense here. So you always want to get your stacks first with the White Blind. So 1, 2, let's just get in here for good measure. Pop this up, and we're going to have 4,905 attack. So roughly around an additional 1,000 attack, which at the start of the video, we said Gorou will give us right around that 1,000-ish extra attack between the 500. And then we'll have to see if they keep the defense buff up to attack buff up, if that sort of translates super well with Gorou. I would assume it does, because if it doesn't, then or there's no real point of that 25% defense buff to be there whatsoever. We'll have to see if that is a thing. And if so, you're gonna look at right around or a little over, a little under, depending on what character you're using, 1,000 defense up. Now remember, we only have 799 base defense. So if you use another character that's a 5-star that wants this stuff, so like Albedo, 876, Itto's gonna have more than this. So all these big defense buffs up are gonna matter a ton, especially that 25% one, if that translates, especially in the new set as well, which is 54%, which is going to be a wild thing there. Then if you go all the way in on Gorou C6, he's going to give you up to 40% crit damage up for your characters, which is a wild thing due to the fact that, well, you know, it's kind of like the C6 for Kujo Sara. We all know how awesome that thing is, but Geo's going to have this sort of like thing where they just want to play with at least 3 Geo characters, get in there and do a whole bunch of wild stuff. So if we take this build right here, right, Serpent Spine, throw that in here, not enhance, I want to equip it. Sometimes, man, some people's kids don't apply my actual build here, Serpent Spine. You may have seen earlier in the video, probably already commented about it, I didn't have 4 pieces of retracing bullet on, I had the wrong circlet on. So our stats here, 51% crit rate, 196% crit damage here. And if you had another 40% crit damage to that, you're gonna be just under 240% for your Geo damage, which is wild, which if you want to really big brain it, then at that point you want to lose a little crit damage, get a little more crit chance to keep that 2-to-1 ratio. But you can see just how important and impactful Gorou can be. Or you can leave it like this and just, you know, make a YouTube video like, wow, check out my 80k crit charge attack, wow, amazing. But you can see just how impactful these characters can get with these new defense characters out. Same thing with Albedo too, new set, Gorou is gonna be awesome. Same thing with Itto. So all of these characters are gonna work very well with Itto, but that's the real caveat there. If you're not using these characters, you're not really focused on Geo, at least × 2 or × 3 Geo, Gorou is gonna have much less impact on you. Now, if you're doing Albedo, Gorou, Itto, awesome. Albedo, Zhongling, Itto, that's what you're gonna do, 100%. If you're running 3 Geo characters, that's what Gorou's made for. So if you like him, you plan on doing that, he's gonna be a wonderful character for you there. I'll look forward to more build videos on Gorou, all that cool stuff, but I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.